Welcome to part 2 of your big and small tutorial. We are in Photoshop now, and I'm going to just open the images I want to use. We're going to put everything into that background image. So that background image needs to be big enough to support all of this, and they all need to be of decent resolution so that the big giveaway isn't like lack of detail or pixelization or something. I'm going to go to open. And I'm going to open up those three things we just downloaded: the truck, the Hinkle, and the Starbucks cup. And I'm going to open all three right here. Boom. There we go. And this is quite a big image. It's 300 pixels per inch, which is quite a lot. This is a print quality image. And I'm on select subject here. Let's go to Starbucks cup. And it's going to kind of give this a hard time because it's white on white. But we're going to go to select subject here. And there's a number of ways I can do it. I can marquee around this. I find that actually worked the best out of ever. Wow, that was amazing. All right. So I have that selected. I need to unlock this by clicking on the actual little lock icon there. And now I can separate this from the background if I want to by deleting the background. I like to do that so I don't have to ever select it again. I'm going to go up here to the selection menu and select the inverse, which is the opposite of that cup. And then I'm going to go to my keyboard and hit the delete key. And when you see this little checkerboard, that is transparency. It's telling you that's going to be transparent. That's perfect. Now I can deselect everything by hitting Command and D, Control D if you're on a PC. And that's perfect. This file's ready to go. Let's do the same thing with the truck. Now here's the coolest thing about the new AI tools in Photoshop 2022. You can drag over items and it knows that you want to select it. So I'm just going to click on this. Then you have to do the marquee. Did it do a perfect job? I got a little bit of shadow under here. No, that's actually part of the truck. Holy moly, cut out the truck perfectly. Again, I don't ever want to come back and do this again. I'm going to unlock that layer. And I'm going to do selection, inverse, and then I'm going to hit the delete key. So now I have a perfectly cut out truck. Let's deselect. And a perfectly cut out Starbucks cup. And I'm not going to finish both of these, but I will bring them both into the background. Now, the best way to bring these into the background is like we did last time with changing our view and our workspace to this is going to be 3 up horizontal because I have 3 things. Actually, I want them vertical. So there you go. And now I'm just going to take my move tool and drag the cup in. Drag the cup in, here we go. I have a cup in here, and I'm going to drag the truck in. I have a truck in here, perfect. And now I can window, workspace. And I'm not just going to close those. If I do, I'm going to save them, right? I am going to close these. I don't need them again. And it's going to ask me save it. Yes, it's going to save it as a PSD because we knocked out the background, so it needs to have that transparency information. Perfect. And same here, save, heck yes, I don't want to do that work again. Saving it as a Photoshop file, Photoshop document. And nice, so here is truck number 1, which we're going to make small. And let's just go ahead and do that right now. Even though I'm not going to do the shadows and all this nonsense for this truck, I might, depending on time, folks. I'm going to go to free transform. I just typed in Command D or Control T, Command T or Control T. You could go up to edit free transform, does the same thing. And now I'm just going to scale this guy down so it is Tonka truck size, right? So it is much smaller than anything else in here. There we go. Lovely. And so there's our truck. And then we're going to take this and we're going to translate this so at least it fits into the scene. And so something very near the edge, close. This doesn't look nearly as big as if it's far away, right? The further it up is up towards your horizon line, the larger it has to be. If it was very close, like right here, it could be held by somebody near the camera. So I'm going to make sure I place the truck, which needs to be small, very close. And the cup, which needs to be big, very far away. And there you go. I'm liking that. I'm going to place this right up here, I think. I don't want it to cast a shadow on the actual building because that just creates trouble. But there we go. All right, so now they're in the scene. Let's make some shadows. All right, so if you haven't noticed, just take a look around you. Everything's sitting on your desk. Everything in your room that touches another surface has a contact shadow. You probably never noticed this before, but everything is connected to the world with a dark little line. So we need to create a contact shadow, a dark little line. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to do that for the cup. And actually, I'm going to put the cup kind of on the concrete here so that it would have to have a contact shadow. You can see it feels floating here. There's no contact shadow. I'm going to duplicate that layer. You can either drag the layer over the new layer icon, which is this little box with a plus sign, or you can just use Command or Control J. And that does the same thing. It creates a copy, and I'm going to name this copy Contact Cup. So the cup's contact shadow. There'll be 2 contact shadows, and I'm also going to duplicate this one more time. Command J, and this is going to be shadow. Cup shadow. All right. No one will ever hate you for labeling things. In fact, they'll love you for it. So don't hesitate to do it. All right. So I have a bunch of cups here, and I am going to just turn off the cup shadow for now. And I'm going to drag this cup contact layer behind the actual cup. I'm going to change layer number 1 to be cup. In fact, both need to be behind. Let's drag them. You can just drag the order in here. You can arrange them that way. And so now I have my cup and my contact shadow cup. I need to select everything in this. And the easiest way to do this is to hover your mouse over the actual icon on your layers palette, and you hold the command key. And you'll notice that my hand icon suddenly gets a little box, a little dotted line box around it. And I'm selecting that, right? That is making a selection just like the one we had. It's a wonderful thing. And now I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, and I want to fill the contents with black because those little contact shadows are black. So now I have a cup. You can see it right here in the icon. I'll turn this one off. That is filled with black. Now to give me the contact shadow, I only need to move this down 1 or 2 pixels. I'm going to deselect that so I don't get confused by marching ants. I think that's all the contact shadow. I think that's too much contact shadow maybe. I think that's just enough contact shadow. Now I'm going to get my eraser out. And one of the few times I'll use my eraser at 100%. And I'm just going to erase all the rest of this layer. You'll see that I'm erasing it. Why am I doing that? So I don't accidentally have any contact shadow anywhere but the bottom. Because it was also a pixel underneath each little edge here. There's a pixel under everything. And you can see now, if you see that layer, it is just that much. That's my contact shadow. Without it, the cup floats. Now we have a contact shadow for the world. And I want to create a shadow that falls in the same direction here. And what's going to inform me on this is the shadows of things in my scene. All the bushes and all of these lights are creating shadows that fall almost directly to 9 o'clock, right? Just due west almost, just a little bit above that. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to fill this other one with black as well. The cup shadow one, I'm going to turn that one on, and I'm going to select it again by clicking on the icon in the layers palette, holding the command or control key, depending on if you're a PC or a Mac. And clicking on it, I have those marching ants. I'm going to fill that with black. In reality, I should fill it with a very dark blue because shadows aren't really black. They're dark blue, but there's going to be so little shadow. And it's so hard to tell here that I'm okay with that. So don't sweat it too much. If you're a stickler, you can stickle. I'm Edit Fill. And I'm going to go black again and go, okay. So now I have another cup that is full of black. And I'm pretty lucky that this is sticking straight up, so it's not going to cause a huge scene for me. And the shadow is what? The shadow's going to be longer. Look how long this shadow is for the street light. It goes all the way to here. It's much taller than it. So this is going to be a long shadow as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start transforming the shadow. Make it a little longer. But I don't want it wider. Oh, no, let's undo that. So I'm going to hold the shift key to unconstrain it now. Thank you, Photoshop. I just want it tall and maybe even a slightly skinnier shadow. Here we go. That's going to work for me, right? And I'm going to turn this on its side because it's pretty much where it's going to be falling. And it's going to fall this way. And it needs to originate with the very bottom edge of the shadow. It needs to feel like it's coming this way. Oh, there we go. I want it starting kind of from right there, I think. Okay, it feels really tall and really wide. Let's skinny this thing down a little bit and readjust it. And we're eyeballing this, folks. We're making fake shadows, okay? So we're eyeballing. Don't get too hung up on being perfect. Just want to fool the senses. All right. And I'm going to hit return to get rid of all of that. Deselect this to get rid of those marching ants. And the problem with this right now is that it's turning everything black, but shadows kind of darken what's underneath it. So in Photoshop, we have this different modes of transferring images. And I'm thinking the darker color, you can see that I can see the background through it now. You can see the object through it too, and it's kind of a translucent cup. So in theory, you would see through it, but now it's going to darken it based on, or multiply is usually one of my favorites, but not today. It's darkening it based on the darkness of the cup, which makes sense. Now I can change the opacity on this. And it's a translucent cup, so it's going to give me some of that love like that. I'm gonna say that's okay. And you'll notice that the poles are bright on one edge and dark on the other, and I need to do the same thing for this cup up here. I need to give it the feeling that it's being side lit like everything else in the scene. See the darkness between bright and dark? And so there's a couple of ways to do this. I'm going to go the easy route. I think this is the easy route. I'm going to duplicate this layer. Going to Command J. So I have a copy of it. And I'm going to go and do one of those, those filters that we use, those adjustment layers. And I'm going to use the exposure one to darken it. And I'm going to make sure it's just affecting the layer directly underneath, which is the cup, not the cup copy. Actually, it is the cup copy I wanted to do it with. So we're going to do that right there. And I'm going to go to exposure and let's darken this thing up. I feel like it feels right. And now all I really need to do is just decide where on this curved surface the demarcator between light and dark is. I'm going to feather this selection a little bit. Filter and modify, or not filter, selection. Modify. I'm going to feather it a little bit, maybe 15, 20 pixels. Why do I want to feather it? So that it has a soft edge. It's not abrupt, right? So now that I do that, and I've selected about half that cup, I'm going to delete it. What's going on here? So I got the feathering. Oh, I'm not on the cup layer. Haha, silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. There we go, and delete. And look at that. That looks like lighting on that cup. Because of the feathering and the darkness, I've just changed the exposure. Lovely. Let's deselect all of that. Command D. There you go, the cup. And now I'm feeling like this shadow is still a bit too wide. Let's go to the regular cup shadow and transform it. Let's just make it a little skinnier. Hard to see where these lines are. Oh, here we go, way up here. Oopsie. I want to do this so that's just skinny, so I'm going to hold the shift key. I'm feeling like that's feeling a little closer to what it maybe should look like. There we go. That feels about right. There you go. So we are done with that. I would do the same thing for the truck. And away we go. So I've created now, and you could make life easy. If I wanted to move this cup around, I can select all of these layers using my shift key. Oops, that wasn't a shift key, was it? That was a caps lock. Turn that off and shift. And now I can link them all together. There's a little link tool somewhere. Not lock. Link right here. There you go. And now they're all linked. So when I go to move this thing, I can move it around with its shadow and put it anywhere I'd like. Lovely. Rinse and repeat for the truck in this case, and that'd be all set. Hopefully you found this tutorial really helpful and it helps scoot you along to getting your project done in a quick and expedient way. And don't forget about those help sessions because they're there for me to help you. I'm always happy to provide my assistance. All right, take care until I see you.